you should probably buy this PS5 bundle. We just got even more PS5 Slim details. And this is the best price yet on the best PS5 headset. How's it going, everyone? Welcome to PSReady, the channel all about PlayStation. Today I'm back with my news video where I get the 5 biggest news stories from around the internet in the world of PlayStation and deliver them straight to your eyes and ears. First up, I've got a little PSA for the Pulse Wireless 3D headset because it's on sale for its lowest price yet of $76.80. So this deal is over on Amazon, but because it's run through Amazon, like they're the ones selling the headset, you can take this deal to other stores like Best Buy or Target and get the headset there if that's where you want to pick it up, which I think is pretty cool. If you've never used the Pulse Wireless 3D headset before, it's sort of like an iteration on the one that came out for the PS4, which was a redesign of the one that came out for the PS3. It's like the flagship Sony headset for the PlayStation console that's in demand at the current moment, and it's pretty good. It comes along with an adapter that you plug into the USB port. Unfortunately, it doesn't have Bluetooth, which is kind of annoying. There are some better options like the InZone line of headsets. The H7 and the H9 both have Bluetooth and a dongle, so you can connect to your phone and your computer at the same time, but since these are a cheaper pair of headphones, you're not going to get that double connectivity. The sound quality out of the box, I would say, is decent on these bad boys, but Sony added the ability in an update to change the EQ of these actual headsets, like the cans that you're putting over your ears, and there's a few articles out there that show you how to tune the EQ to get the best sound out of these things. And the coolest part is, I think this deal should work on multiple colors, which there are multiple colors at this point. You can get a white set, you can get a black set. They haven't done a red, pink, blue, or purple set to match those faceplates, but if you get the black set, you can match it up with the black DualSense and a black faceplate, which is what I did back in the day before I upgraded my headphones. Or if you've got a pair of white plates and a white DualSense, you know, the classic look that comes with the PS5 out of the box, you can just go with a pair of white Pulse Wireless 3D headphones. And of course, they're also releasing a pair of the gray camo ones. And honestly, out of the entire gray camo line, I think the headset looks the best because the cans, like the actual part that goes over your ears, those remain black. So it's kind of like a two-tone look. And I don't know, I might pick them up. Throughout the generation, Sony doesn't tend to upgrade the internals on these. So if you pick them up for this discounted price, it's not like you're going to feel bad and have to upgrade later. But like I mentioned, if you want better sound quality, I would go with the H7 or the H9. But if you're on a budget and you want the best bang for your buck, these are kind of like the best all-around headphones you can get for your PS5. And at this price, I think it's a no-brainer. And of course, I will have them linked down in the description. I can't believe October is already right around the corner. And I also can't believe that once again, Sony has not leaked the PS Plus games for October, but Forbes has put out their annual, I guess not really annual, it's like monthly article that tells us what their predictions are. And honestly, they're usually pretty close, if not 100% correct. They usually get a couple things right. So this month, they're predicting that we could get an older Call of Duty game, which makes a lot of sense since Sony's done that before, especially with Modern Warfare 2 right around the corner. If they haven't done it already, I feel like they could offer Modern Warfare 2 Remastered's campaign as a free PS Plus offering. They say Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order could be an option, which I kind of believe, but I would guess that would come closer to December or at least closer to the launch of Jedi Survivor. That would be a great release to have on there though, just because it's been out for so long. It's been on sale for like $7 to $10. It feels like a safe game to include on PS Plus, but my bet, my money is going on Kena Bridge of Spirits. It just came to Steam. It just got its anniversary update, and this is a game that was kind of a PS5 exclusive that was also on PC. I bet it'll come to Xbox eventually, but like another game that has eventually come to Xbox, Deathloop, Sony just put that on PS Plus Extra, so I could see them doing a similar thing with Kena Bridge of Spirits, because I don't think this game is really selling that many more copies. Another PS5 launch title that hasn't been offered just yet is Sackboy: A Big Adventure. We know that's coming to PC because just like with Returnal, it leaked on Steam. I could definitely see that being an October PS Plus game, and their last prediction would be the best, I think, Ghostwire Tokyo. That's not coming to Xbox for at least a few months. I want to say like 6 months, but it's a horror game and we are approaching October, and it's a first party technically, or a second party game from Sony. I could see them just throwing that up on Extra because once again, I've seen that game going for like $20 new out the door. So I feel like that's one we could see show up on PS Plus, and it really wouldn't hurt the sales in the long run. I could definitely see Resident Evil Village being included just because when Final Fantasy VII Intergrade came out, the PS4 version was included for free very recently before that on PS Plus, and then eventually Sony put the PS5 version on there. Resident Evil Village has been out for over a year at this point, and there's going to be DLC coming with the Shadows of Rose update and also the third person update. So yeah, they could give you the base version of Resident Evil Village, and then you could upgrade it for the extra fee to the gold edition that comes with the new DLC and the new third person mode. Either way, we'll find out in a few days what the PS Plus games are. We might actually even find out by the time you see this video, and then I'll just look like an idiot because all of these are wrong. You never know.
This video is sponsored by PayPal Honey. You've probably heard of Honey before, but if you don't know what it is, it's a little button at the top of your browser that makes it so you can get things you're already buying for cheaper. It's free to install. When you're checking out on pretty much any website on the internet, all you have to do is click it, and it'll automatically put in any promo code it can find to make sure you're getting the cheapest price. I use it all the time to buy horror t-shirts because a lot of the websites I use like to sponsor podcasts, and they come up with a bunch of different codes, and Honey can find them all instantly. I also use it all the time when I'm looking at new PlayStation accessories. Recently, I wanted to pick up a Midnight Black PS5 controller just to have an extra one, and I was able to save just a little bit of money using Honey. And also, when I was looking at a new monitor just a couple months ago, I used this tool then as well. So it's nice to see them come by and sponsor a video. Honey is really easy to recommend because it's completely free. So if you want to try it out for yourself, go to joinhoney.com/PSReady and follow the steps there to add that awesome little button to the top right corner of your browser. Thanks again to PayPal Honey for sponsoring this video. Next up, we have a new PS5 bundle. We actually have a couple of them based on where you're at in the world, but the one I want to focus on first is the Horizon Forbidden West bundle. We've seen this before, but this is a brand new one that's repackaged, and I'm 99% certain that this comes along with the brand new PS5 that's over 20% smaller and runs a lot better. We'll talk about that more in a little bit though. So this is $549.99, which comes along with Horizon Forbidden West and the disc-based PS5. So you're actually saving $20 on Horizon Forbidden West, which is pretty cool because this is the PS5 version of the game. Now, unfortunately, as we've seen in the past, despite the fact that this is a disc-based PS5 you're getting, it comes along with a digital code, which is kind of annoying because Horizon is actually a pretty big game and you only get 680 gigs of usable storage. So if you do pick this up, I would also grab an SSD. They're all on sale right now pretty much. Their normal price for a 2 terabyte is like $250, a 1 terabyte is $150. If you can afford it, I would just swing for a 2 terabyte. And just like with the Pulse Wireless 3D headset, I have that linked in the description. So that one you should be able to find in pretty much any retailer, but the one that I personally would go with is this one from PlayStation Direct that comes along with Modern Warfare 2. Now this one's a little bit more expensive than the Horizon bundle for some reason. Instead of being $550, it's $560, so you're paying $10 more, but the game that's included, Modern Warfare 2, is a $70 game, just like Horizon Forbidden West was. So you're saving $10 on the game, and if you want to pay the $30 to upgrade it to the Vault Edition, so you get early access to the campaign, that's really only going to cost you $20 instead of $30 because you save $10 on the game. But just like with Horizon Forbidden West, I bet Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 is going to be pretty big, especially if you're downloading Warzone 2 as well. So once again, I would still plan early and pick up some sort of SSD to go along with this console. Between Horizon Forbidden West and Modern Warfare 2, if you don't have a PS5 yet and you're okay with using Sony Direct, which I have had good experiences with before in the past, I would go with personally the Modern Warfare 2 bundle. This could be the last Modern Warfare or the last Call of Duty bundle we ever get from PlayStation, which is kind of crazy to think about just because, you know, Xbox is buying Activision, and even though they've said they're going to honor contractual agreements, I bet they'll do whatever they can to stop the production of bundles that sell PS5 consoles, just because Microsoft being an advertisement for their competitor console, it's not really a good look, and that feels like a fringe case where they can kind of say, no, we're not doing that going forward now that we own Activision. Another reason I'm picking the Modern Warfare 2 bundle over the Horizon bundle is I just had a really good time with the Modern Warfare 2 beta. I guess that's an unpopular opinion just based on my TikTok For You page, but still, I thought it was pretty fun. I played it with a bunch of different friend groups who are all varying degrees of skill at the game. My favorite weapon was the repeater. I wish it had some upgrades because it got kind of boring using it after a while, just like I'm sure everyone else is bored using the one shotgun you have access to that also has no upgrades, but I'm digressing a little bit here. You've got two bundles at your disposal here. You've got the Horizon Forbidden West bundle for $550, and you've got the Modern Warfare 2 bundle for $560, and you might even be able to find them because I've heard rumors that it's getting easier to find a PS5 finally, and now's the time to get it because as we get closer to November and December,
December, it's going to continue to get harder and harder to find them, just like we see every year since this thing launched. This is just a hardware focused episode because now we got to talk about the God of War DualSense controller. Now, of course, this thing kind of sold out really quickly as soon as it went up for pre-order because all the bots, the scalpers, and a few people I'm sure who actually wanted the controller like me were able to pick them up. But then, you know, they come back into stock over the next few days or the next week. And from that point forward, I think it won't be too hard to get. Now, this controller is going to be $75. And if you pre-order it now, it's going to come to you closer to the game's release, which happens in the middle of November. So if you want to pick up this controller, I would recommend just doing it now and having the peace of mind, especially since if you pre-order it on Amazon, you're just not paying for it until it ships, and they do 2-day shipping. So, you know, you won't pay for it until 2 days before the controller comes out. Just make sure if you pre-order it, you get your spot in line, you have enough money in your account on whatever card you pay for this thing with, because that would suck. That actually happened with my PS5, where the credit card I had logged into my PS5 pre-order on Amazon had expired since I pre-ordered it, and I had to wait a few extra days to get my PS5, which was definitely agonizing. I feel bad complaining about it now, knowing how hard that thing was to get. I didn't know at the time, so waiting a few extra days really wasn't that bad in the grand scheme of things, but at the time it was a big issue. So I would say make sure you know you're going to have enough money on whatever card you pre-order this God of War controller with. Also, I think what I'm going to do is take the black plastic off my white DualSense, that little piece at the bottom, and snap it on here. I like the blue and white two-tone look. There's just too much white. You know, it kind of has a Sonic the Hedgehog vibe, or a penguin. I don't know. It just kind of reminds me of a penguin, the way it looks right now. So I feel like that black plastic piece across the bottom will improve it just a little bit. I'm definitely going to do that on video though, so you can see if it's worth doing before you snap something off your controller and maybe break it in half. All right, so now let's talk about this pseudo PS5 Slim, because as Austin and I found in our video, it's actually quite a departure from the one we saw last year, and an even bigger departure from the original PS5 that came out at launch. You know, the one I have sitting in my TV cabinet right over there. So Tom's Hardware has gotten their hands on this new PS5, which is the CFI 1202 model, and they've given a very detailed breakdown of what's going on inside of it. So the original PS5 APU was dubbed Oberon, which is kind of funny because that's my favorite beer from Bell's Brewery in Michigan. They're the best. But now the new one is called the Oberon Plus. And this chip is physically smaller. It's 260 square millimeters, where the other one was 300 square millimeters. And it was fabricated on the 7 nanometer process instead of the 6 nanometer process. Essentially what it means is it's smaller and it runs more efficiently. So their testing of its power falls in line with ours. They saw 18% better performance. We saw 20. Let's just split the difference and say maybe there's 19% better performance, or we can go with what Tom's Hardware is saying, because what they're writing in this article seems way smarter and way farther out of my pay grade than I was expecting. Now, this is a hardware revision that's a lot like the Redbox Nintendo Switch, in the sense that this is one that Sony doesn't really have to make that big of a deal out of. And it's probably only being done for them to save money on the production side of things, and also to get ready for this new version of the PS5 that's going to be a digital edition with a detachable disk drive, right? Like, if they can get the chip smaller, that's less material needed to make the chip, and if they can get them to run with less power, that's a cost saving as well, because the heatsink can be smaller. Because if the heatsink's smaller, the PS5 weighs less, and when they ship these things from the factory to other countries, they pay by weight, so in the long run, they're probably saving a lot of money, and then they're just passing that savings off on us. I'm just kidding. They're making everyone pay more money in every other region of the world except the United States. Both graphically and frame rate wise, I feel like more power could be pushed out of this thing than currently is, mainly because a lot of the games are coming out on PS4, but it makes me feel a little bit better to know that we're getting to a point where we're abandoning the PS4 and we're no longer going to need it. Capcom needs to get on the same page as everyone else though, and stop releasing games like Resident Evil 4 Remake on the PS4, and I thought it was interesting that while they didn't announce it initially, it allegedly is also coming to the Xbox One. So I don't know how big of a downgrade it's going to be between the next gen consoles or the current gen consoles and last gen consoles, but I hope it's a big leap and it runs at like 30 frames per second, 900p at the max on PS4. Like, I want to see this next gen Resident Evil really push things farther than Resident Evil Village did. Either way, I'm super excited about the new update for Village, and it's going to be the game I play on Halloween.